It's been a great season here at Dirt Tracks. We've traveled to a lot of very unique places, ridden a ton of cool product, and had the opportunity to hang out with very cool people, not the least of which is NASCAR driver Greg Biffle. When we first set out to follow the build process of our very own Z1100 Turbo from PACE Offroad, we weren't sure how much FaceTime we'd get with Greg along the way, seeing as he's a NASCAR icon. From the first conference call to the final ride, Greg was right there with us, showing that PACE Offroad is not just a hobby, it's a passion. With help from our incredible friends at Arctic Cat, we were able to get our hands on a brand new Wildcat 1000, along with a brand new Z1100 Turbo motor. This was the start of something incredible. The professionalism of the build at PACE is first class. The stock bodywork, roll cage, suspension, interior, and all associated drivetrain are carefully removed and organized. The stock motor is lifted out, and once the vehicle is down to nothing more than the chassis, it's set onto a chassis jig, cut and re-welded to accept the new Z1100 motor. Following the rear clip alterations, the chassis is sent out to the same powder coating shop used by many of the top NASCAR race teams. The quality of the welding as well as the powder coating on just the chassis alone makes this vehicle look like it came off of a high-end production line. While the Z1100 Turbo on its own would be cool to drop in there, it's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that truly makes this a custom build, and not just another backyard motor swap. The in-house, hand-built wiring harness would be one of the biggest differences in a PACE Z1100. This is built with mil-spec wire, uses all factory plug-and-play connections, and is not split loom, but fully heat shrink to ensure a long life and proper electrical power to the right places. Along with the harness, PACE will custom wire any number of unique accessories into upfitter switches. For our build, that includes a large clutch blower, a huge Rigid Industries light bar, lower Rigid Industries rock lights, LED whip lights, and a few extra spaces for extras in the future. We also opted for the full-size second battery tray to help keep all those accessories working. While this vehicle was 100% built by PACE, we had the help of many sponsors along the way, providing very unique and cool accessories that would make this truly custom. UTV Inc. donated the sweet heavy-duty roll cage that will keep us safe as well as stylish. They also hooked us up with the beautiful doors that fit perfectly and gave the Wildcat that buggy look. STM was able to hook us up with billet primary and secondary clutches able to handle huge power, as are the Turner Eagle axles. Fox Shocks was also able to supply us with a beautiful factory series set of Kashima-coated podium piggyback shocks to keep us riding hard and landing soft. Finishing it off was a set of color-matched LED whip lights from Quick Lights. At the end of the build, we were still waiting to install a few last-minute pieces. From PRP, the custom color-matched SE suspension seats as well as the 4-point harnesses. From Wolf Design, a full vehicle custom graphics wrap. And from ITP, special wheels and tires. All that was left to do was get out and ride. The finished product was incredible. The graphics wrap made a serious statement. The seats matched the chassis and the wrap. Overall, the entire package was awesome. This is not just an accessorized Wildcat. This is a PACE Offroad built Z1100 Turbo that pushes out nearly 30 pounds of boost and almost 300 horsepower. Greg's passion for side-by-sides is evident in a finished product like this, but I had to ask him where all of this love for the sand had come from.
You know, I really love the sand. I started riding in the sand a little bit growing up as a teenager. Just really loved it and enjoyed it. And then came to Glamis a few times, saw the big sand cars and always wanted one, and it took me a while. But once I got a sand car and I had Banshees, it's just, that's the kind of riding I love to do. And I don't think the sand will ever get old for me as far as what I enjoy to come out here and do and ride in it. And I have so much fun on all different vehicles. You know, I can ride the Banshee still, and I love the side-by-sides now. And you know, last 2 trips I haven't even got my sand car out of the building and drove it. So these side-by-sides have taken over so much.
Getting out and actually driving the Z1100 Turbo Wildcat was the #1 thing on my mind. With Greg's knowledge of Glamis, as well as his ability to drive the wheels off anything with a steering wheel or handlebars, I knew that I was in for some fun.
You know, the riding is a lot different no matter what vehicle you're on. So from riding my dirt bike to the Banshee to the side-by-side and sand car even, You know, the side-by-sides before, you know, a few years ago, they could only go in the little stuff, couldn't make it up. I remember when the side-by-sides couldn't even get up the hills. You know, you had to take a certain way to get to where you're going, and now the side-by-sides dune with the sand cars. You know, the big bowls, the small, there's so much medium, what I call medium size. Not any fun in a sand car because it's not fast enough and too tight of turns and technical. But in the side-by-side, you can have so much fun, and there's so much of that size dunes, even all across the US. That's why the side-by-side is kind of taken over, because it fits that, and you can still go in the big bowls and the big hills because they have the power now to be able to get up them.
It was clear to me very quickly that this is what Greg had created the Z1100 Turbo swaps for. This is the most fun I have ever had in the sand.
I got one of the very first Wildcats when they came out. I loved the suspension on it. The suspension was great, but clearly I recognized right away, it just simply needs more power to be able to do what you want. You get down in the flats and some of that, it'll go fast enough to have a lot of fun. But the minute you start getting into the hills or some of the bowls, it just didn't have the power to really transition the way it needs to. And so instantly I went back and went on the mission to put power in these things and did a lot of research, and you know, came to the conclusion the Z1 engine is really the engine of choice. I cannot tell you how happy I am with that engine, the way it fits in the vehicle, the way it fits in all, you know, we've done other brand vehicles with that engine. It works so well and it's so reliable. To date, we have about 30 builds, 25 builds, not one issue yet with any of the builds as far as the engine.
I was blown away with the durability of the driveline in these vehicles. I mean, we were not going easy on these things, and there wasn't even a hint of anything that was going to show us a failure.
You know, people's reaction when they get out of a stock side-by-side and get into one of our PACE Offroad vehicles, side-by-sides, is they really can't believe the experience they're having. You know, it just totally changes it from the suspension we do to the engine, to the powertrain, the drivability. You know, the 3-position boost control switch to choose what power level you want on the fly. It just changes the experience altogether. And I haven't been in a stock side-by-side in a long time. Yesterday, I got back in a stock one, and I still don't believe how different they are when I jump in a stock one. I kind of take it for granted because all I have is Z1 cars. And you have to drive it differently, a stock one, because you have to be thinking about, you know, you got to think further ahead. How am I going to get up this hill? And you don't want to get slow at the bottom of a big transition because you're going to get stuck. It's not going to make it up it. So you get spoiled with a Z1 car and the power's so smooth and linear. I think that's how you forget how much power it has and how well it dunes. It kind of takes away that feel of, oh, this has got a bunch of power, till you get in a stock one, and then you really feel the difference.
This sport is important to Greg, and with nearly 30 builds already complete, he's had the opportunity to see his vehicles being used out in the dunes for the purposes they were designed for.
The thing I enjoy the most about doing the swap, it's a hobby business, you know, not going to become rich off of doing these engine swaps and these Z1 cars and all these side-by-sides. But the thing that I love the most about it is to see the smile on the customer's face. When we stopped and, you know, you get out of the car after the 20 minutes of running and you talk to the guy, and the guy's glowing. You know, he has so much fun and loves it. The other thing is the reliability factor of our cars. We work tirelessly, and my guys do, on our cars being 100%. You know, we want to build the F1, the Bugatti, you know, of side-by-sides. We don't want the guy to have to work on it, and that's what we really pride ourselves in, is the reliability of the vehicle. Because everybody knows when you put something high performance together, you're going to be working on it. And that's the one thing that I want to infuse into my guys, and when we turn out a vehicle, we push it out of the door, is that guy can get in it, start it, pull it in gear, and ride it day after day and not have to work on it. Check the oil, put gas in it, and have fun. And that's what we've been able to do with the vehicles. It's cost a lot of money, a lot of engineering time, but that's what makes me the happiest, is when a guy calls me up and had a 4-day weekend in a stock car, broke a belt. This guy had this problem, that guy had that problem. And he's got the high performance car and never touched it. Put it in the trailer and he's ready to go for the next time. So that's what makes me feel good when I see customers smile on their face after they get to drive their car, unveil it, first couple rides.
At the end of the day, I realize even more why I love this sport. It's not just because I get to go out and drive 300 horsepower side-by-sides. It's because I get to hang out with people like Greg Biffle, who are not just passionate about this sport, but they're passionately pushing the bounds of what we all thought was possible.
If you enjoyed this video, post a comment and let us know what you think. Then, click this link to subscribe and that link for more great videos from Dirt Tracks TV.